I was lonely. I was bullied.
I saw myself through other people's eyes.
I had anxiety.
I hide behind my smile.
I'm still different.
I was depressed.
I lost my purpose in life. I was suicidal.
In middle school, I was bullied, and I was struggling to find a place where I could fit in. My two best friends the year before, they had moved away to different communities, and I got so depressed that I just started cutting myself. I didn't want anybody to see it, so I'd just do it on the legs.
The bullying started immediately when I entered high school. I came from a middle school with an 8th grade class of 12 people. So when I came to the high school, I pretty much knew no one. I was starting over. And every day just hearing that I'm not cool, that I'm a loser, that no one cares, just really affected me. That went on till about the end of my sophomore year. And when you hear that no one cares about you, every day you start to believe it, even if it's not true. I had thoughts that were not good for my health. There was times it got so bad I didn't want to come to school the next day.
Well, I was in about 4th grade, and I started being bullied by some kids who rode my bus, and they would tell me that I was fat, but I let that get into my head, and I started seeing myself as less than perfect, and I felt a lot of pressure to be exactly what they wanted me to be, and it's still kind of stuck with me. I feel like I need to be perfect.
My junior year in high school, I hit a wall with my academics and just everything going on in my social life. And so I started having chest pain. And after going to the doctor and having it for a couple months, I went to the doctor a bunch of times, and they thought I had a breathing issue, like a blood clot or something crazy wrong with my chest or my breathing. And after having like 3 breathing tests done, they put me on some medication that was supposed to help my anxiety. And when I picked up my medication, it ended up being antidepressants, which really caught me off guard because I didn't think I needed those, and I didn't know that's what they used to treat anxiety. So after that, I started taking my medicine and going to counseling, and it slowly started going away.
When I was in middle school, I had a lot of self-esteem problems. And I know you wouldn't think it, because I'm the guy you go to for a laugh, but it was hard, because even though I was always laughing, it felt like no one really knew me. No one knew the hurt that I had. No one knew that someone that on the outside was so lively and always cracking jokes could be so hurting, so in pain. I really felt like there was no hope. Looked at a lot of options, and I felt like I was hopeless.
Ever since I can remember, I was aimed towards being a doctor. It was what I was going to do. Something that my mother told me that I should do, basically because it was my father's goal. I went to Miami University in their pre-med program, got through the first couple of years, and my grades started to deteriorate the second year of college. By the end of my sophomore year, I had started to calculate what kind of grade point average I had and what I was going to need in order to become and get into med school. And I calculated at that point that there was no way I could do it. I was not going to get the grades to get there. So in my mind, that purpose in life that I had had since I was in 8th grade was gone. So the logical thing for me was to kill myself. Just seemed like what I should do.
When I was in middle school, my mother got a new boyfriend, and she dated him for 5 years. And for that 5 years, I was told every day that my life was worthless and that I didn't deserve to be around, and everybody was happier without me. He would threaten to kill my animals because he said I didn't deserve happiness. And I was in a very dark place. I kind of hid away from my family and friends. I refused to tell my mother because he said that I would be in big trouble if I would tell my parents. So I refused to tell my dad. Luckily, he was in Colorado, so he wasn't able to see how it was affecting me. My mom worked 5 jobs, so she wasn't always home. So basically, it was just me and Jesse, her boyfriend, and I didn't really understand how to cope with it. I didn't know what I was doing wrong.
I've always lived in a very different world from everybody else around me. Growing up, I saw things as more meaningful. Every sound I heard was a symphony. Everything I saw was a masterpiece. And as a boy growing up, you're expected to go out and play sports. You're expected to fight, to be boisterous, to go out and preside and provide. I couldn't do that. I was just too much of a gentle spirit, and as soon as we entered late elementary school and middle school, that automatically meant that I was bad news. I was a faggot. I was a loser. I wasn't worth it. And to be told that everything you grow up believing, everything you desire in a world, it's absolutely shattering. And so as I just sort of took every insult that I got thrown, I started believing them. And as that happened, I just kept spiraling down into this awful state where the world I had grown up in became one of ashes.
Thankfully, just by my own willpower and the grace of God, I managed to just stop it all together. I found some friends and I kind of picked myself up from the ground. But I still kind of had, that incident still with me, And so a couple of years later, this past summer at our church camp, I shared to a couple of friends there, what happened and how I got through it. And it really helped me just being able to tell my friends, and a lot of them had similar experiences with depression. It's like, I wasn't alone. Everybody understood. They didn't judge me, and people need to just kind of realize it's okay to talk about these things. It helps people a lot. So
even when things got at its lowest, I found that though maybe sometimes the bullying doesn't stop, but the depression does stop when you just talk about it. When you just come up to someone you trust and just say, hey, I need to talk. This is what I'm dealing with. Can you help me? And as soon as I did that, I felt so much better. I felt that, yes, someone did care about me. Someone would care if I did die. And it helped me so much.
I found a way for myself to be happy with myself, to see myself for the good things. And even when there are bad days, I know I have people there who love me, and they're pretty much all I could ask for. I have the best support group of friends. There's always going to be someone for you who is willing to help you, even if you don't talk about your specific problem, there's going to be someone there for you.
So when I started going to counseling, kids originally made fun of me because they just assumed that I was crazy or made jokes about that, asked what was wrong with me, why couldn't I just fix it? And there are so many misconceptions about that because teens our age and people our age just generally think that if you're going to counseling, then something's wrong with you. And that's not the case at all. Going to counseling is just identifying that you have a problem and then taking steps to fix the issue.
I did everything I was supposed to. You know, I went to counseling. I surrounded myself with people who I realized did love me. And you know, over time, I began to have a sort of renaissance of the soul. You know, I began to realize that it was worth it, that there were lots of things that could keep me going.
It's hard because sometimes I still feel like there's no point. And I don't know, I feel like me trying to be happy all the time, it does more damage than good. But I always am optimistic because I know I have people that care about me, even though I may not care about me. But you just need to keep your head up because things are going to get better.
I didn't ever consider what it was going to do to my parents, you know, my friends who came to Miami, came down to Oxford to pick me up. None of that crossed my mind. And I'm sure if you're in the painful place that I was, you don't think about it either. It's one of those things where you hope that someone will notice. It was understanding that I do have worth, that I have value, that I have a purpose in life. Beyond my own goals, beyond my own plans, that I have a place among people, among the world. There's a purpose for my life beyond myself. And understand that that's what it is for you. Whatever it is that's going on with your friends, if you see something in the light of all that's happened here, come to somebody and say it. We're not going to think bad of that person or of you. You can get help. I did. And my life has a purpose and has since those 37 years since I tried to kill myself. You can have a purpose too.